So hello and a very good morning YouTube. I am back with the fuel pump video as promised, and what you could see now is this is the fuel pump of the Honda Highness CB350 which came out from the fuel tank. I will show you the process of how to install it so you could understand that how I took it off from the motorcycle. Well, honestly guys, I was not that confident to rip this one apart to get hold of the filter which is inside to clean it. So that's why I had to take it to a professional and have it done by him. The cleaning the cleaning procedure has been done already. I would attach some clips to demonstrate how the filter had been cleaned, but on my request, the person who did this job had taught me how to take this thing apart. I am going to take this thing apart once again just for the sake of demonstration. So the filter and everything which is inside has already been cleaned, and so when you take out the fuel pump from the fuel tank, this is what is going to come out. This particular part stays underneath the tank, outside the tank, as you guys must be knowing, and everything on top of it goes inside the fuel tank. So this particular thing which you see is responsible for giving you all the data of how much fuel is left in the fuel tanks. Okay, now this is the floater. So as the fuel level, as the fuel level rises in the fuel tank, when you refuel, this one goes up, and in turn there is a sensor over here which sends the data to the speedometer to show the exact amount of fuel bars which is left in the fuel tank. So that's the story over here. There's a particular fuel pump motor which is inside. We would see that in some time, and a lot of other mechanical stuffs inside, mostly made of plastic. So one should be very, very careful when handling a fuel pump, as there are possibilities of breaking things over here, and you don't want to do that. This thing is very, very costly. So yep, let's start the procedure. So first, what we need to do, we need to take a picture of this alignment, I mean how the wires are being installed. So what I did, I took a snap of this particular portion so that I could refer to it later on when I install it back. Okay, so now I had purposely kept it a little bit loose, so I have to open it in any which way, so that's why. So otherwise you could just push it with a screwdriver from here, and these ones will come out. Okay, so that's wire number 1. This is wire number 2. Now they are all kept loose, that's why they are coming out so easily. Otherwise you need to insert a little bit of pressure over here. So and then the last one, and once they are all out, let me now take it out of this bracket one by one. There is a small bracket over here which keeps all the cables into place. So once they are out, so the next thing is we need to if you could see, there are clips over here, one over here, another one over here, another one over here, and the last one over here. There are 4 of them. So we need to do it very, very gently. Okay, so if I just push it like this, it comes out of its place. Right, so this is the last one. Okay, so now you have to be careful because there are a lot of components inside which could just fall apart. So very gently hold it from over here and wiggle it a little bit and pull it upwards. Okay, so now there would be O-rings, there would be numerous amounts of things inside. Okay, so be very careful. Okay, so now this one is out. Okay, so this one is the fuel pump motor. Okay, I'll take that out as well, so we will see that. So let me now keep this aside like this over here, and this is another component which stays inside. I'm sorry, I'm not that much educated about a fuel pump, but I could just show you the things which are there inside, and I am aware of the basic principle how it works. So this one goes in a particular place. You just cannot put it anywhere. Okay, so if you plan to do it by yourself, mark and check out that how it is placed inside. Okay, and this one has a particular tunnel inside that one. It goes in over there when that one gets seated over here. Okay, so there is an o-ring over here, so make sure not to lose any of the o-rings. So let me just put it back. Yeah, if you could see, there is a particular o-ring over here. So not much over in this particular thing to explain. Now this is basically the fuel filter which I wanted to clean. It is already clean, as I had mentioned earlier. So this is the fuel pump motor, okay, the metal piece over here. So you just need to grab this one with 2 fingers, and this base over here, hold it and very gently pull it out. There's an o-ring over here, so be very careful. As I said, see, there's an o-ring over here, right? So push the o-ring all the way inside and keep it aside. Okay, so now we have the filter completely detached from the fuel pump, and we can go ahead and we can clean this fuel filter. So now let me just pause the video over here and go ahead and attach the clip over here wherein this one has been cleaned. So after that I would continue the video. Okay. So yep, now that you all have seen how I had cleaned this particular filter, so let me now go ahead and show you all the other components which are there. So this is basically the fuel pump motor. So whenever we have a faulty fuel pump, basically this is the guy that goes wrong. Okay, this is nothing but just a kind of a pump which pushes the fuel from the fuel tank to the injector at a particular pressure which is decided by the ECU. The ECU sends data to the fuel pump, and the fuel pump pushes that particular amount of fuel to the injectors, I mean to the throttle body. So if I just pull it like this, wiggle it and pull it, I'm not going to take it out completely because all the cables and everything has been routed in a particular place which I do not want to disturb. So as you could see, this is the fuel pump and we have a o-ring inside which came out. Sorry. So this is a o-ring, this is an o-ring that was there placed over here. Okay, so let me just put it back in its place. Yep. So as I was saying, most of the time, yep, much better. So as I was saying, most of the time this is the particular part which goes bad when we call it a faulty or a bad fuel pump. So, and honestly guys, this motor is very much available in the local market for various kinds of fuel pumps. So it would be a very much cheaper deal to replace this particular motor in case of of faulty fuel pump. So that's a lot, that's something which the local mechanics do at times. I have seen them doing so. So that's pretty much it guys, nothing more to explain inside. All mechanically devised things which are there inside to work in a particular way. That's what a fuel pump is all about, a very simple thing. So yep, that's it. There's a particular way in which this goes inside. So you see this particular hole, now this one along with the o-ring that goes in and sits over here, and it goes in and stays snug over there. So let me just put it back. Right. So there's another o-ring over here. You have to be very careful with all the o-rings. You cannot afford to misplace them or displace them. So once that is done, now we have the filter which needs to go in. So we have the o-ring over here, and this is the clean filter, as you'll have seen how I cleaned it. So now it's time to put this thing back. Okay, so just a little bit of wriggle and gentle push forward, and it stays snug over here, right? So once that is done, so if you could see, there's a hole over here, there's a tunnel over here, and there is another one deep inside over there. I don't know whether you can see or not. Yep, there. So that long stick in the other one, this one, that goes in over here, okay, inside. And the actual this one, okay, this goes in and sits over here. So that's the theory over here, and this filter has to be completely inside this particular structure. So let me now put it back. It is a little bit tricky, okay, but could be done. I had already gathered the knowledge yesterday. So yep, with time we learn things. There is no shame in that. As I said, I did not have the knowledge of dismantling this one until yesterday, and a friend of mine taught me. Cool. So as I said, this particular thing, this particular tunnel is going to go and sit over here, and the rest of it will become at sync. So, and the filter is going to go inside this, okay, the filter is going to go inside this, not outside. So it's gonna be a little bit tricky, a little bit so this could be a little bit tricky, but nonetheless it could be very easily done. What you have to just figure out is this particular place, I mean this particular tunnel is going to go and sit onto this one, okay, the one which has the o-ring, and this one is going to slide inside just beside it. So you just got to align that. So okay, and make sure that to check whether everything is going into place. Don't put a lot of pressure over here. A lot of pressure is not required. Do it gently, do it slowly, and it is going to go in, right? So once you're done till this much, come to the filter and you would find that it's getting jammed over here. This is quite normal, so you just need to wiggle it a little bit out and then push it inside with your fingers, and again put the filter, put the pump structure back into place. So yep, like that. So once you're happy with the setting, yep, right. So this the stick kind of a thing, it goes into this particular cylinder over here, right? And this one is going to go and sit over here. And now when everything is in proper shape and proper place, just need to gently push it back into place, and you need to push it but be very gentle, okay? So you need to put back the clips one by one. So right, there goes one of the clip, and number 2, number 3, and number 4. So all the clips are now attached properly, and as we could see, the O-ring got seated inside, no issues, and the stick is inside this cylinder, okay? I'm not sure what exactly it is supposed to do, what role it has in the fuel pump, but I'm sure some sort of mechanism is there. It has got its own role. So nonetheless, that is seated properly and everything is installed properly. We just now need to put back the cables, the wires, right? So we have the cable slot over here. There are 4 slots over here, and we have 4 open wires, so we need to put them back. And for that, I need to refer the picture that I had taken, right? So let me now get hold of my mobile phone. So I have the picture that I had taken beforehand, okay? So I'm going to refer to that and put back the wires. So first we have this green one, okay? So before putting it back, we need to put it inside the bracket and then very gently put it inside the slot, the extreme right hand side one, and be very gentle, guys. It's going to go in, but be very gentle, okay? If it doesn't, then take it out and try another time. So once it is in place, you could just push it with your finger and it's going to get seated properly, right? So next in line we have the green one, this one. So let me put it inside the bracket and inside this one. So yep, the second cable is also installed. Yeah, it was a little bit difficult, but since I am doing it for the first time, but nonetheless it got done. Right. Now, which one do we have next? So yep, we have the red one. The next cable in line is the red one. So let me put it inside the bracket, and the red one goes in, and yep, fine. And last we have the black one, probably the negative. Right. So all the cables are now properly seated, no issues whatsoever. right? So once that is done, basically we are done with the fuel pump assembling, and now this fuel pump is ready to be put back inside the fuel tank to start doing its duty, right? So there's nothing to do with this particular guy over here. It just sits along and shows the data. So yep, so now I would be getting hold of the fuel tank and showing you all that how this one is installed, and also I would give you all the data and all the particular measures that you should take before you take out the fuel pump from the fuel tank. Okay, so stay tuned. Let me just get hold of the fuel tank and then we would continue the video. So yep guys, now we have the fuel tank detached from the motorcycle. I had kept it in the motorcycle just like that. So yep, now I have taken it out and I have brought it inside my room, and I am about to install the fuel pump inside the fuel tank now. So the very first thing that we need to do is we need to turn the fuel tank upside down, because the fuel pump is going to go from the bottom, right? So for that I need some sort of support, because I just cannot put the fuel tank on the floor upside down. So I will be using a pillow for that purpose, but you could use anything else. I mean, just about anything which is soft enough not to put any scratches on the fuel tank. So let me just move it aside a little bit, bring my pillow, and put the fuel tank on top of it. So the fuel the fuel tank was quite dirty in these locations, since I spray kind of a grease over here just because to avoid rusting issues. So that's why it had become very, very dirty. All the dirt and everything got attracted to it. So I had given it a good clean right now before this. So it's clean, more or less clean now. I mean, I will be able to work on it. And this is the place where the fuel pump goes in. There's a metal bracket, okay, which you could see, which I had installed it back when I took out the fuel pump. So they are all 10 number nuts installed over here. These are all 10 number nuts. Okay, so let me just undo the nuts. When you plan to take out the fuel pump from the fuel tank, it's the general practice should be to have as low fuel as possible, so you do not need to worry about taking out a lot of fuel from the fuel tank, because before you start the process you need to empty the fuel tank. That is, you need to put a kind of a fuel pipe or any kind of pipe from the actual fuel filling location, the top cap, and then suck all the fuel out of the fuel tank. Otherwise, when you open this fuel pump from here, all the fuel is going to come out. Or if you have a lot of fuel in the fuel tank, and if you put the fuel tank upside down, then fuel is going to gush out from this particular hole over here. That's how the structure is made. So be careful about that. And if you have a lot of fuel in your fuel tank, you need to buy a particular can, the jerry cans which are there, and pull out all the fuel from the fuel tank and then start the procedure. Okay, so this is basically a clamp which holds the fuel pump in location. So let me first clean this a little bit. Make sure not to drop any dirt or any kind of things inside this Otherwise it could be a little bit difficult for you to take that out from the fuel tank. Okay. And if you're suspecting that your fuel might have a lot of impurities, or maybe there is water which seeped into it somehow, then you got to this is the right time to put in a cloth or something from here, because this is a bigger hole and you get a lot of more reach from here than the other side from where we fill the fuel. So you just need to get hold of a cloth and some sort of screwdriver or something, and then put it inside, and then suck all the fuel which is there. I mean, soak all the fuel which is there from inside, and then put it take it out. So that's the way that I generally do if I suspect that any kind of greater impurities or any water is there inside. So that's not the case at the moment, so it's not required. So once that is done, then we need to install the fuel pump inside the fuel tank, right? So before that, you need to make sure, now there are two rubber gaskets over here, okay, and they have a particular slot over here to go in. If you could see, there's a particular notch kind of a thing, if you could see this, and it goes in and sits in its location right there. So make sure that it's in its proper seated location, right? And make sure this place is clean as well. Okay. And now what I'm going to do before I install the fuel pump, I am going to apply a little bit of grease over here, which I generally do in all my gasket related jobs. It's basically not mandatory, but it's a good practice basically. Not much, just a little bit. So there's another thing which you should mark before starting, before you remove the fuel pump. That is how it is placed over here. I mean, it could be installed any of, I mean, if this is the fuel pump, so once it is inside, okay, so before dismantling it or before taking it out from the fuel tank, you should take a snap so that you could refer to it as in which direction the fuel pump was. Okay, so in my case also I had taken a snap, and I'm going to refer to it, and then only I'm going to install it. So this bracket is also there and the fuel pump is there. So let me just check the photo now, which I had taken prior to taking the fuel pump out of the fuel tank. So as you could see, this was the condition of the fuel tank bottom when I had removed it from the fuel tank. So this rubber thing, these rubbers are these ones, and the nozzle is facing this side, and this notch of the bracket is facing that side. Okay, like this one is going to go in like this, right? And the fuel pump nozzle is going to stay like this, and the electrical connection is going to face that side, just beside this one. So that's why these photo references are required. It makes life so much easier. So now This one is going to go like this. Yeah, and be very careful with this, floater. You have to put that in first, and like this it's going to go in like this, and get seated like this. Right. So yep, now that we have the fuel pump back in its location, back in its position, so now it's time to put back all the 4 nuts that we had taken out. That should be it. So now the fuel pump has been installed back into the fuel tank, right? So let me just give it that last bit of cleaning. A little bit of dirt which I could see around the fuel pump. So that's it, guys. That brings us to the end of this video. I hope you liked it. I tried my best to demonstrate how to take out the fuel pump from the fuel tank and then dismantle it and get hold of the fuel filter, how I cleaned the fuel filter and then put everything back to its original location. So that completes the cleaning procedure of the fuel filter, and checking all the things around the fuel pump. So that's it. The next thing which I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the throttle body from the motorcycle, clean it thoroughly and then put it back. So that will be a separate video altogether. I did not want to elongate this video, that's why I'm making 2 separate videos. In this one you saw how to clean the fuel pump and the filter, and the next one is going to be about how to take out the throttle body from the motorcycle, clean it part by part and then put it back again. So that will be coming up maybe in a week's time, because I have a very tight schedule. So this one has also kept my bike from moving around. So I'm going to install this tank back into the motorcycle, pour in the fuel, and then the bike will be good to go. So that'll be it. If you're interested in knowing how to take out the fuel, how to disconnect the fuel tank from the motorcycle and take it out and put it back, so I have a dedicated video regarding that on my channel. So I would put a link in the description regarding that video. So if you're interested, you can go ahead and you can watch that video tutorial wherein I explained the things in detail, how to disconnect all the cables from underneath and do all such stuffs. So that's done. So one more thing, guys, I am very thankful to each one of you all who has subscribed to my channel, and I request for people who are new to my channel and people who have not subscribed to my channel to please consider subscribing to my channel, because these videos they take a lot of effort, as you must have seen. So I really appreciate if your one subscription makes a lot of difference to me. It helps me to grow my channel in more than one ways. So I really would appreciate if you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon beside it. Well, that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for your valuable time. I hope I was able to share some knowledge over here. And that's it. Please take good care of yourself. Have fun in life, guys. Happy riding. Cheers. Bye bye.